Hello, my name is Rachel, and I love crafting. And right now, for the very first time ever, I'm going to play with some UV resin. I haven't played with UV resin. I think I once tried something with the 2-part resin a really long time ago, but I just didn't get the hang of it and didn't stick with it. But today we're going to try UV resin, and then one day I'll also try some 2-part resin, but I don't have any 2-part resin at this time. But I have shut my door so the cats cannot get in here because when the resin cures, it creates toxic fumes. Before I start, I'm going to go get my painter's mask just to be safe. Like I said, I've never done this before, so you guys are going to experiment and learn with me. So let me flip you guys around to Craft Vision and we can get started. Okay, so I'm already off to a kind of a bad start. I thought I was supposed to cut the tip off this bottle, but you're not. It screws off and then you have this pour spout. So I actually ruined the protective cover for my bottle. Oh no. So I'll just have to, I guess, go back to this one when I'm done, or cover this with something. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, so I'm off to a bad start there. We would start with something simple. We're just going to do this small bat. And I thought we would just do it a glitter bat. Let me open up my glitters. And this glitter is already kind of everywhere. Go with this purple. I think this purple is pretty. I'm going to take one of these cups, which already has stuff in it everywhere. So these silicone cups kind of pick up everything. Here I have from one of my toolkits this little plastic stirrer. We're just going to put I don't know how much this is going to take, but we're going to put just a little bit. Oh, this is coming out oddly, probably because I accidentally cut some of that tip off too. And hopefully that'll be enough for our bat. And we're going to add some glitter. I'm going to just put in a spoonful of glitter. Actually, I wonder if I can stir with this spoon thingy too. Because this is actually silicone, so it'd probably be able to peel it off and reuse this. But let's see what we can do here. Yeah. But the silicone is soft, so it makes it hard to stir. Okay, I think that'll be enough glitter, maybe even too much glitter. Like I said, we're experimenting. Okay, like I said, we're just going to do this small top bat. We do have some bubbles in here, which does happen when you stir. Let's see if we can get this into the mold. And actually maybe I made a little too much. Okay, and I think I overfilled our mold a little, and I'm not sure how to correct that. I'm wondering if I can still make him and then break off the excess pieces when he's done. So we're going to try that. So the next step, I'm taking my light and I'm going to do all of it so I can peel that out of there. And I'm really not sure how long this takes, so I'm just going to put it on the longest setting. And I'll bring you guys back when it's done. That is done. Let's see what happened. Okay, let's start and see if I can. Okay, it's definitely still a little bit sticky just on these parts. But you can see that cup cleans up beautifully. That's the excess that was in the bottom there. Let's see if I can clean out the spoon. So the cleanup is really quick and easy when you use the silicone tools, so that's cool. Now for our mold, still just a little bit sticky. Maybe I'm gonna put him under for a few more seconds. Alright, so we did another 30 seconds. Let's see if he's any less sticky. Well, let's demold him and see what he looks like. Okay, except for the part where I obviously messed up by overfilling the mold. He's actually kind of cute, and I can probably trim all that off. Let's see if I can trim that off. I'll be right back. So I was actually able to snap most of that off. The edges are probably still jagged. I have read that you can use sandpaper to sand the sharper edges if that happens. Other than that, I guess the only issue is on the back, he's still a little bit sticky, so things keep sticking to him. And I'm not sure if the stickiness is something that'll go away, or if it's just because I made it too thick or didn't cure it long enough, or has something to do with adding in the glitter. But for the most part, I think he's fairly successful. And I, do know now, do not overfill my mold. That's a definite no-no. And let's try again. For my next experiment, I'm actually going to use some of these mica powders. And I have this old eyeshadow empty container. And I'm going to put a couple of the powders in here. I got that one everywhere. Mica powder is pretty though. I'm not sure if these would be safe to also use in like cosmetic products, or if these are only craft micas. So what I'm trying to do is to get like a multi-chrome by mixing the different colors of mica. I have no idea if that works, or if I chose good colors for that, or if I did the right amounts of colors for that. I'm just going to take this brush and I'm just going to dab just a little bit right in the center of the bat. Okay, I clean the brush off, and then in the wings I'm going to go black. And then we're going to do, of course, a little bit of this again. I'm going to add some of the mica powder to it to make the base of it black. And let's see if I can get this in here without overfilling the mold this time. See if I can clean up around the edge of the mold. Okay, so let's get the light back up here. And we'll do the 99 seconds again. And I will bring you back when those are over. Okay, so I did 99 seconds, and then I did 60 seconds, just to see if we can get rid of the stickiness. And of course we can peel off the tools. I will say the tool still feels a little bit sticky, so I'm not real hopeful. Not peeling as easily either as the last one. I'm thinking the mica powder might have interfered somehow. Feels a little greasy. You can see that didn't peel out nearly as neat as the other one did either. So I'm thinking the mica powder interferes a little bit with it. Okay, but let's see how the bat came out. Okay. Yeah, the bat, you can see it's still liquidy there underneath. So our mica powder seems to be a failure. The mica powder experiment, not good. So he's still quite liquidy. I'm wondering if it's because he's too dark, because I read that if you use a dark colored mold, the UV light won't go through it and it won't harden. So I'm wondering if it's the same thing with like making the resin dark as well. Maybe it just doesn't harden. But let me go clean all this up and we'll come back and try again. Okay, so we got all that cleaned up, and we're gonna try that experiment one more time. Only this time we're not gonna add mica to the resin. We're just going to paint some mica in the bottom of the resin mold. And it's possible mica is just something I need to save for 2-part epoxy resin as opposed to this UV resin. But we're just going to put clear resin in here. And we're just going to try that. And I'll do the 99 seconds and then the 60 seconds again, and I'll bring you guys back. Alright, so we're done with that. Let's see how this worked. Okay. Okay, he seemed to work fairly well. There's a little dot there in the center that may not have come out perfectly. But he's kind of cute. You've got that really pretty mica shimmer on him. I can't tell if I guess he's probably still a little sticky. I'm not sure if that's just something that happens with UV resin where it just stays a little sticky. I do have some bubbles in there. I haven't been real careful about eliminating bubbles. And actually, I think that's what that is on his stomach. I think I caused a bubble there. So I have to be more careful about bubbles. But I think painting the mold with the mica works. Just don't color the mold with the mica. And he feels sturdy. So yeah, I just need to be more careful of bubbles, and that technique seems to be a good one. So next we're going to try coloring with alcohol ink. If this is going to cause the same problem as we had with the mica, where hopefully it won't make it too dark. So I'm just going to add just a little bit into the bottom here. Maybe 2 drops of alcohol ink. That might have been too much for how little I have in here, but we're going to give this a try. Mix that in. And this is a pearl alcohol ink. Fill our mold. And I will once again do the 99 seconds and the 60 seconds, and I'll bring you back. Alright, so we've done the 90 seconds and the 60 seconds. Let's see how this worked. See if it peels off the tools easily. Oh yeah, peels off the tool nice and easy. I do like how easy the little silicone cups and stir clean up. Stir just is a little soft, so it makes it hard to stir. But let's see how our bat came out. Okay, our bat came out rather nice. So you can use alcohol inks. Just had a little excess there. Let me take a glove off and see how sticky these are. Yeah, he's still sticky. They stay sticky on the underneath, which I find particularly interesting because that's where the light is at directly. But I don't know if that'll go away in a day or two or not. I'll have to update. Also, I feel like I've been making these maybe a little too thin. Like the first one I overfilled, but then these other ones I'm feeling like I'm not filling enough. I don't know. But anyway, so the alcohol inks I think work really well, and I think he came out pretty. Okay, so I'm trying one more, and I'm going to use a couple of the different techniques that worked for us. First, we're going to do the skull here. He's kind of thick though. Maybe I should do a thinner one. Let's do this skull. He's a little bit smaller. Go in with this red mica glitter, and we're just gonna color in the skull. That might be a little too much. We're just gonna try a little black glitter, just a little bit. And a trick I saw to get rid of bubbles is to use a flame, and I'm hoping that works for UV resin as well as the regular resin, but we're just going to give this a try. We're going to do the 99 seconds and then the 60 seconds again, and I'll bring you back. So I was reading the instructions on my nail dryer, and I really should have done this before I started, but apparently 99 seconds is low heat mode. So instead of 99 seconds this time, I did 2 sessions of the 60 second, and we'll see if that makes any difference. That's nice. Came out. Oh yeah, and it feels a lot less sticky already. It's not sticking to my gloves as much. So I'm thinking I was making a mistake there with the 99 second mode, thinking it just meant longer, but it meant lower heat. That feels pretty good actually. Let's see how this worked. Let's see if this worked. Okay, he is completed. I'm not sure how well. See, the red didn't really seem to come out on him. So there's that. So he's not quite great. Definitely need to work on that a little bit. Maybe if I did 2 colors of the resin, did like a red resin to fill in the skull part over top of the painted red part, and then the black resin. That might have been better. So I'm going to do one more experiment on camera, and I'm going to try doing the 2 different colors of resin. So I'm going to again paint inside my mold. This time I'm going to use this pink resin. Or not resin, this pink mica powder. And we're going to put this one in here. Okay, very small amount of resin with a little bit of pink glitter. Probably overdid the glitter for that little bit of resin. The black glitter. I suspect my colors aren't going to work great because I didn't do a good job of that. I will cure them and we will be back in a minute, or 2 minutes. Okay, I did 2 sessions of the 60 seconds. Let's see how this comes out. Something really weird that I've noticed is as this cures, the fumes that it gives off smells like pine trees. That's just so bizarre. But our tools are cleaning nicely. Okay, now let's see what we have here. Doesn't feel that sticky. Actually, not too terrible. Definitely need to work on precision. But I think our little skull came out cute there. And then one last thing I'm going to try is I bought this little hand drill. And I'm going to see if I can drill a hole in the top of here. Hopefully he's thick enough. Okay, I don't think this one's thick enough. Let me try a different one. Let me try my first bat because he's thick. Okay, so there we go. It does work. I just needed a thicker piece to work with. I'm afraid she was just a little bit too thin. I need to work on filling my molds properly. So there was our UV resin experiments. We've learned some things that worked and some things that didn't. I'm definitely going to have to play with it a lot more, but I hope you enjoyed watching me struggle. Okay, so it's been 24 hours, and as you can see, I was playing with this some more, and I completely forgot I ordered these things, and they came in the mail today, and they're Halloween charms for resin where you fill in the gaps with resin. And I thought I would do one of these with you guys. But first I wanted to talk about some of my experiments and what I learned with the UV resin. Do not do this in thick layers. Like even just these bigger bats, their bellies are too thick. Let's see if I can find him here. And won't cure all the way. But if you do the belly first and then do the rest afterwards, you can build it up that way and you can use the UV resin that way and make it work. I did the same thing with this where I did the pink skull first, but then I also was again experimenting with black, and again, don't do a dark color because I guess the light just can't penetrate it, because as you can see it just did not cure well at all. And I didn't use the mica powder to get this black. I used a alcohol ink, and even the alcohol ink, it just did not work. So don't do a dark color. If you want black, use the black glitter. And I'm guessing because it's still clear, it just has the glitter in it, so the light still works, but you can still get, with like a background to it, you can still get the illusion of a solid black background. So that's what I learned there. Also with the coloring thing, I also thought I would try, I was like, well, maybe it's because I keep adding color to the resin. So I just painted the bottom of an owl mold and then put just clear resin in it. But when I did it all at once, again, you can see that just did not work. He just did not cure there through his stomach. But when I did it in layers, I got a pretty good result. He still messed up just a little bit right on the very tip of his stomach, and I think I just didn't make my first layer thin enough. But again, I did this by using the mica powders to color the inside of the mold, and then I just poured clear resin layer by layer and cured each layer for about 2 minutes. That was another thing with my light. Once I figured out that 99 seconds was low heat, don't use that setting. Only use the 60-second or less settings for the high heat. Works much better. The few that did have some stickiness, the stickiness did go away after the 24 hours. But I did him in layers, and he came out rather well. Still need a little bit of perfecting there, but then I decided to get super ambitious. I decided to do one of these cat molds. And I did put in some of those eyeballs that they sent with him, although I think I got a little bit too much of the mica down in there, so the mica's kind of clouding his eyes, unfortunately. And also, I didn't do my first layer thin enough, so you can see down in the nose it didn't pick it up. And I fixed that by adding a little bit of black mica powder and just a dot of resin over top of it, and then curing that dot of resin. But I probably did 6 or 7 layers to get him like this. He probably needed one more layer because I can sort of feel he's kind of concave back here. And again, that's using clear resin, so you can paint the mold. And I think that came out actually pretty neat, except for where I messed up his nose. But I think I was able to salvage that okay. I don't think the salvage I did looks too terrible. But painting the mold really does do a good job, and then just build it up in very slow layers of clear resin. And if I just done, again, just like that owl stomach, if I just done that first layer just a little thinner and cured it maybe an extra minute, I probably could have gotten a perfect result there. But I don't suggest this because these thicker molds, it just uses way too much of the UV resin, and the UV resin obviously isn't cheap. You can probably get twice as much epoxy resin for the price of the bottle of UV resin, and so it's not really economical to do these bigger molds. I was just determined to try and get one done, and like I said, I think he came out pretty okay, except for where I messed up his nose. And I think next time if I did do this again, which I don't think I'm going to, because like I was just talking about the economy thing, I would just have to make sure that first layer was a little bit thinner all the way down in his nose. So let's try one of these charms. Now, I think technically you're supposed to use a silicone mat, which I don't have, but I have this Teflon, so I'm hoping the Teflon will work. And the other thing I wanted to talk about, this hand drill. I had bought that one set with it came with the glitters and a bunch of tools and stuff, so I could get this hand drill. This hand drill is terrible. I do not suggest it. I barely had, it can kind of work. I've made it work with a couple of them, but it's just not efficient, not easy, not a good little hand drill. So I don't suggest getting that kit for the hand drill. The kit was still under $10 and still worth it because it came with all of those plain jewelry molds. So if you just wanted more standard jewelry molds and the glitter and the tools, I think it was still worth it. But I was buying it just for this, considering all those other things as extras, and for that it wasn't worth it. Let's try a pumpkin. And I'm trying a pumpkin because they're not my favorite, so I don't care if I mess it up. So first we're just going to mix ourselves up some resin. And I'm going to use some orange alcohol ink and just a touch of gold glitter, because I don't have orange glitter. Now if I were feeling really adventurous, I'd also make a little green for his stem, but I'm just going to make the whole thing orange. And then we're just going to pour it in here. Like I said, I hope this works with the Teflon. This may not work at all with the Teflon. I might have to invest in a silicone mat. But we'll find out, because that's what we do here. We try things and we find out. And I don't see any bubbles, but we'll go over it with the flame real quick just in case. Maybe they're hiding. And I'm going to do 2 cycles of the 60 seconds, and then I'll bring you back when that's done. Okay, so it's been 2 minutes. Let's see if yep, it's coming nice and easily off the tools. That's always a good sign. So let's see how this charm came out. Oh, looks like it might still be liquidy under there. Ooh, so it's really still liquidy on the underneath. So either 2 minutes wasn't enough, or this is just another case of too thick. So I flipped it over, and I can cure this side as well. So I'll be right back after I cure this side. Let's see if that worked. Maybe this is again just too thick and something that I should have just done in layers. Probably 2 layers probably would have worked better. But in the end, it did work. Again, that's just something I'm going to have to experiment with, and maybe just layering it would be better. So I don't know if it's... that came off nice. So Teflon does work. So that's the good news, is I don't need the silicone sheet. I can use Teflon sheets, which I have a lot of. So that's good. Definitely, what I've learned with UV resin is it only works in thin layers, and lighter colors are better. If you go too dark, that's not going to cure either. I don't know if it's just this particular UV resin or UV resin in general that is like this. Please let me know down in the comments below what your experiences with UV resin are and what sort of tips and tricks you have in working with it. And I'm definitely going to be trying epoxy resin at some point because, like I said, it's just not economical to use UV resin for these thicker molds that you have to layer up because you're using quite a bit of that to create those. Plus, you know, that adding layer after layer, I guess you still get a result quicker than you would with the epoxy resin, which has to cure overnight, because you can still do one in like 20 minutes, but each layer does have to cure for a couple of minutes. But anyway, this has been really fun. I hope you guys enjoyed coming along with me as I learned some tips and tricks with UV resin, what does work and what doesn't work for me. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and if you enjoyed my video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy the video, you can give it a thumbs down, but please leave me constructive criticism in the comments below so I can improve. And also don't forget to leave me all of your UV resin tips and tricks. And please subscribe to the channel. And I hope everyone is just staying happy, healthy, and safe in this incredibly crazy world we are living in. And I will talk to you all soon. Bye-bye!